What's going on, YouTube? It's Honey Bear. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over the Modern Warfare 2 UI and some basic settings. We're going to go over all the menus and the settings that I have found work best for me. This is going to be the most relevant for PC players out there. So this is the main menu that you're looking at right now. In the future, this is where Warzone's going to be, and possibly other games going in the future. You'll notice on the top left it says Call of Duty Headquarters. I have a feeling as time goes on, they're just going to keep adding the games to this menu, and there's just going to be a Call of Duty menu that you go into going into the future. So getting into the Modern Warfare 2 menu, let's get in here. It's going to take you directly to the Quick Play menu. So this displays the main multiplayer modes. So you're going to be using the filter button here for your Quick Play. That's going to allow you to choose your different game modes that you want to play or don't want to play. This is where you're going to be finding your featured playlists. So your 24/7 modes, your mosh pit modes, things like that are going to be here on the Quick Play menu. If we scroll down, it's going to take us to the rest of the main menu here. On the first line here, you're going to find your Ground War, Invasion, Private Matches, which they've locked out for now. And the benchmark if you're on PC. I am so happy that they added this in for PC players. The tool is great. And like I said, I'm happy the developers added it. It's going to make tuning your graphics to your specific PC as easy as it can be. This is going to allow you to decide the balance you want between quality of graphics and FPS. So utilize this tool, go in there, play with your graphics settings, decide what's best for you, and use those settings. So going down, you have your campaign next, and then below that we have the co-op missions. Right now there's 3. I have a feeling in the future there will be more. So that's our main menu. If we go back up to the top here, we've got some sub-menus at the top. First is going to be the weapons. This is where you're going to find your loadouts. Once you reach level 4, you'll be able to create your own loadouts. Your kill streaks. And where you can put on your vehicle skins. Chances are they're going to add music and stuff like that in the future. So that's where you can select those things. We have our operators. And then what will be the battle pass, and the store is there, which as we know, plenty will be added to this. As we continue to go over, we have a sub-menu for menus. You can go to your home screen, which brings you back to Quick Play, your socials or friends list, progression, which is going to show you where you're at with the military ranks, and your achievements, which right now the achievements are just for campaign and co-op missions. There aren't any multiplayer achievements in there at the moment. As we continue to go across, you have your channels, which this is to help set up your parties, chat volumes, chat parties, those sorts of things. We also have notifications. This is for any messages you might get, friends notifications, those types of things. We're going to come back to the settings menu. Your profile menu is there to set up your calling cards, your emblems. They have a thing for your showcase, which is what you're going to be carrying in the main menu when you're going to load into a game. And your clan tags. And then you have the actual friends or socials area, which this just needs fixed. It is not good. I hope they get to it very quickly because it's very not good. So going back to our settings, if we come into our settings menu, we have all of the menus here. We're going to start with the quick settings. If you are the type of gamer that just wants to get into the game as fast as you possibly can, right here is everything that you need to be able to get in there. You have what you're going to be using for your input. If you're using your mouse for your input, what you want your sensitivity to be, your controller sensitivities, how you want your display set up, your brightness, and your FOV. If all you want to do is go with your base recommended settings, by all means, jump in, get into gaming, go have some fun. If you want to get into more and set the game up to perform better on your setup, we're going to need to get into some other settings. So going down the list here, next down you have your keyboard and mouse settings. I'm not going to get into this. I don't play mouse and key. I have tried. I struggle at it. I'm not going to mess you up. If we go down to the next one is your controller settings. So mainly you want to set this up to be as comfortable for you as possible. That's what your controller settings are for. Don't set your settings to my settings because you think that my settings must be right. Your controller settings are a total preference, and setting it to somebody else's settings isn't going to make you better at the game. It's not going to make it more enjoyable. You need to find what's best for you. But to get into my settings, I play just regular triggers and default stick layout. I use the buttons on the back of my controller. Have my controller vibration turned off. All this is going to do is screw up your aim. So this is the one setting I will tell you, turn it off. It's going to screw up your aim. For my aiming sensitivities, I have mine on 9.7. I do have my ADS multiplier turned down quite a bit to 0.8. The rest of my sensitivity multipliers I've left at 1. The vertical aim axis I have not touched. I've left them all standard. So as we go down, my aim down sight behavior is to hold my left trigger, not to tap it and then have to untap it. That doesn't make sense to my brain. I have auto tac sprint on. For my equipment behavior, I have hold. Weapon mount activity I have set to melee just because that's what I'm used to. I know some players have changed it for the pseudo slide cancel that's out there, but I have mine to melee. My interact reload behavior is to tap, and then I haven't played anything that needs armor plates yet. I'm assuming that's going to be in co-op, but I always have mine set to apply 1. That's how I have mine set in Warzone as well. So to get to the settings that everybody wants to know about, because it's the most obvious to everybody, is your graphics. Again, utilize the benchmark tool. Tune your graphics settings to your PC. So in the graphics settings, we have 3 separate menus. We have your display, your quality, and your view. For your display, this is mostly going to be your setup, as it's your monitor, your graphics card, everything. So as you can see, set yours to full screen. Your monitor, your graphics card, set your refresh rate to whatever your monitor is. Set your display resolution to whatever your monitor is. All right, dynamic resolution, you want to turn that off. Your aspect ratio, let's just set it to automatic. It's going to set it to what your monitor is. Turn your VSync off. That will add input lag. I do have a custom frame rate set up. I have mine set for just about double my monitor frame rate. My graphics card's never going to hit 250 frames. I'm not worried about that. I do have my menu frame rate set down quite a bit. There's no reason for my graphics card to be going full bore, balls to the walls when I'm just in the menu. And then as we go down, we got sRGB settings. My brightness I have set to 60. That's just what I like. Any brighter, it's going to burn out your retinas. Any dimmer, you're going to have a hard time seeing people in dark corners. So, and then focused mode we have set to off. So let's go over to quality. That's where we get all the settings that everybody really wants to know about. And I'm going to explain some of the things we did here when setting everything up. So my target frame rate at 1080 was about 100. Anything less than that, I feel like I'm losing competitively. Anything more than that, I'm really not gaining much. My monitor is overclocked to 144 hertz. I'm not gaining much by being over 100 frames. please keep in mind I am running an RTX 2060, so I'm not running high-end hardware. I have an 11700K and a 2060, so I was never going to get super high frame rates or be able to play on like 1440. That's just not going to be able to happen for me right now, unfortunately. My render resolution's at 1080, but we are using upscaling. I'm not using DLSS. I did not like the quality of DLSS as I ran the benchmarks. What we found was the AMD FSR upscaling was a much better quality. During the benchmark, I was noticing when I was running DLSS that I couldn't see certain players through smoke and things like that. When I turned on the AMD FSR, I was able to see those players. So that's what we ran with. It helped bump frame rates by 25%. I do have it set to ultra quality. So if you're really struggling to get frames because you're running on lower end hardware, setting this to quality or even balanced, you're going to see a noticeable jump in performance. So going down, anti-aliasing I currently have on. I could probably turn that off and get a little bit more, probably a few extra frames. So for our texture resolution, we're running very low. The texture filter is low. Nearby level of detail low. Distance level of detail low. Clutter draw distance short. Particle quality is high. I can't stand the low end particle qualities. It gets very pixelated very quickly as you start cranking this down. I don't like it. My particle quality level is normal. Bullet impact sprays are on. Shader quality is medium. Tessellation is off. Terrain memory is max. On-demand texture streaming is on. My streaming quality is normal. Volumetric quality is low. Preferred physics quality is high. Water caustics we have off. And then for our shadows, we pretty much have everything off or on low. SSR and SRQ we have off or low. Weather grid volumes we have low. We did turn on the NVIDIA Reflex low latency on plus boost. Then depth of field is off, motion world blur off, weapon motion blur off, and then film grain all the way off. So that is our graphic settings. Feel free to take screenshots. That'll help you get your setup. But again, if you want to set yours to this, decide what your target frame rate is going to be, and then set your graphics as high as you can while getting to around that target. I do see in most maps, another 5 to 10% better than what I'm getting on the benchmark. So keep that in mind while you're running the benchmark. You're probably going to see slightly higher frames. When we get over to view, I set my FOV to 120. I know some people don't like playing that high. They feel like they're not getting as much aim assist, whatever it is. I like to be able to see more. My ADS field of view is affected. Weapon field of view is default. Third person field of view, again, as high as I possibly can get it, so 90 in this case. Then vehicle field of view is defaulted. I have the camera movement turned down as far as I can possibly get it. I left the third person ADS basically the default. And then the one thing they added from the beta, one of the things they added from the beta is your spectator camera. In the beta, everybody had to spectate on that helmet cam looking thing, and a lot of people were actually complaining about it making them motion sick and stuff. So you can actually change yours to the game perspective, which means you're going to see it just as you would if you were playing. So we're going to jump over to our audio settings is the next thing down. I basically have my system set up to blow my eardrums out while I'm playing. I will say this is probably the best audio I have heard in a Call of Duty ever. The explosions and things like that we experienced in MW19 and Warzone, not near as bad, not near as ear-wrenching as those were, all the kill streaks and stuff like that. The gun sounds are good, and the footstep sounds, I think they tuned well. I think they could still use a little bit of tuning. They are clunky sounding, but you can hear them. The audio is good, and I want to give credit where credit's due. They listened and they tuned it well. So for my settings, I have my headphone bass plus boost. My master volume I have all the way up. The music, you can hear it, but it's not loud. For dialogue volume, I have it turned down. I want to be able to hear it, but I don't want it to be overpowering. And then effects and hit marker volume I have cranked all the way up. Make sure this is just set to whatever yours is at. If you have like a set of speakers and a set of headphones plugged into your machine, you're going to need to know what output they're going to. Subtitles and everything I just left default. Voice chat is on. The game voice channels, you can set it to just be your party, just be the friends in your party, or you can set it to everybody in the lobby. I like hearing the death comms. Most of the time, some of y'all out there are just toxic. Sorry. This is what it is. And then I'm set to push to talk. Voice chat volumes all the way up. And turned off Juggernaut music. I have the Modern Warfare hit markers on. You can do classic, or you can have no sound at all when you get your hit markers. This doesn't really matter unless you're using in-game chat. And then I have my reduced tinnitus sound on. Okay. So the next and last menu that you really need to worry about is going to be your interface. So a lot of these things we're just going to leave as default. All these are default. Okay. Then we're going to get down here to our HUD. So for our HUD, you want to set this down to 10-ish. Any further in, it's going to affect what you can see on the game. But this is going to bring your map and everything else closer in on your screen so that you're not having to look all the way up into the corner for your mini map. You want to set your mini map to square, and then you can turn your rotation on. You want it to rotate with you. It'll make more sense to your brain, I promise. I have my crosshairs on, just makes more sense to me. I have my hit marker visualizations on, and damage based hit markers. I turn player names to abbreviated, just to keep more clutter off of the screen. And then vehicle HUD prompts, you can set that to as needed. And then for telemetry, what you see up here for your machine, I have my FPS counter on because I like to see what I'm getting. I have my server latency on, packet loss on, and my GPU temp. The rest of these settings are just kind of preferences. So go in and set them as you see fit. So that is your menus. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, if you could hit that like button for me, I would greatly appreciate it. If I earned it, if you caught yourself stopping and taking screenshots and you feel like I earned your subscription, I would greatly appreciate that as well. You can turn that notification bell on. We've got plenty more content on its way. I really do love and appreciate you guys. I appreciate all the support you give me. Remember to be kind out there, all right? I will see you guys on the next one. Bye!